Confidence isn't something that you're going to fake your way into, and it's also not something that you're just going to work on one single time in your life. Confidence is something that you have to continuously fine-tune and truly hardwire into your mindset. And we all know our mindset can be affected by a lot of different outside factors. I have not done a confidence talk on this channel in quite some time, and honestly, I feel like this is the perfect time to do it. A lot of us are transitioning from one season into the next. I know I'm definitely transitioning, regardless of if you're already a confident person and you're just fine-tuning and rewiring a couple of things, or if maybe you've never really had a true confidence. I want to spend some time today talking about how we can reprogram our subconscious mind, get the right kind of mindset so that we can exude a high confidence. For those of you that are new here, 95% of the time I will always include my video chapters on the screen, and that is because I know short form content has stolen our ability to be able to focus long enough to watch a 20 to 30-minute video. It is okay. That is why I include the video chapters. You can save those for later, or you can go ahead and skip ahead right now. But I just want you guys to always know where we are in the video so that you can stay on track. Reprogramming the subconscious mind, I am going to be completely honest, it is something that I am going to be speaking about a lot. And that is because I realize reprogramming the subconscious mind is how you truly switch your mindset. I know we like to talk a lot about changing the mindset. In order to change your mindset, you have to reprogram your subconscious mind. You have to reprogram the thoughts that you have about yourself, your current belief system about yourself. If you're lacking confidence, or if you're feeling maybe a little insecurities creeping in about your confidence, that's because it's been conditioned that way. It's based on the current belief system that you have about yourself. And you're going to hear me say that a lot, so just go ahead and get it in your mind. Belief system, belief system, belief system. Okay, we've got it. It is based on the current belief system that you have about yourself. It is based on how you've responded in certain situations that you found yourself in. Conditioning happens when you have repeated situations over and over again. So of course, the more that you find yourself maybe people pleasing, or the more that you find yourself not standing up for yourself, or maybe you're making yourself overly accessible, the more that you find yourself in that same situation, and the more that you respond the same way in each of those situations, you are going to have a stronger conditioning, meaning that you are going to have a stronger probability of having the same exact response over and over again. So example, you're somebody who shows up and you are dedicated to doing your work. You show up on time, you go above and beyond to produce high quality work, and your supervisor notices it, but they don't notice the other people on the team. Maybe you're one person out of 4 or 5 on this team, but because you have such high quality work and you're doing more work than anybody else is producing right now, your supervisor relies on you. Well, maybe that supervisor is like, well, let me see if I can pile some extra work on. So they come to you and they're like, hey, Kathy, do you have time to go ahead and do X, Y, and Z? Well, if Kathy is not speaking up for herself and Kathy is just taking on the workload, okay, maybe the first couple of times it's like, okay, sure, I'll go ahead and do it. But if that supervisor gets comfortable giving Kathy extra work on top of what she already has, instead of seeing that other people are available to do it, that becomes Kathy's problem to speak up for herself. And if Kathy is not speaking up for herself, every time that supervisor gives her more work, she's conditioning herself to believe that she's not worthy of a break. She's conditioning herself to fear standing up for herself, which is a lack of confidence. So obviously we have to reprogram. Why? Because we want to erase those people-pleasing behaviors. We want to erase the criticism and rejection that we've gone through, and also to erase the societal norms that we've lived by that have actually robbed us of feeling great about ourselves, or feeling like we have the potential to be greater than what we are. Every time Miss Kathy over here doesn't stand up for herself against that supervisor that keeps trying to pile her work on, guess what? That is a negative record being stored in your mind. Every time you have negative self-talk, you know, we're good for that. We're all good for having that negative self-talk when we're not being consciously aware of our thoughts. So every time you make a negative statement to yourself, that is another negative record being recorded in your mind. Every single time someone passes a judgment on you and you actually believe it and internalize what they're saying, that's another record. Maybe you're somebody who feels like you only always come in second place and you have registered in your mind that your best is only second place. Guess what? That's another record. Your subconscious mind is taking every single record that you give it on a day-to-day. It's no surprise at all why your confidence is low, because if all your mind has is these negative references to go back and pull out of the archives to see how you did in that moment and see what your response was, if every single reference is negative, of course you're going to have low confidence because you haven't rewired and erased what's there so that you can have a positive reference to look back on and act differently in those moments. Hello, that is where repeated behaviors come from. Behaviors change when you put more focus and awareness on the thought. Like I said, you have a low confidence right now because every stored record in your mind says, well, this is how you responded in this situation, so continue to do that. The only reason why it's stored that way is because in the moment, you didn't pay attention to your thoughts, and then whatever you accepted at that moment is what got stored. So of course, change the behaviors by changing your thoughts. But not only is it about changing your thoughts, you have to rewire your belief. If somebody is making a statement to you, they're passing judgment on you, and you believe it, that's why it's getting stored. If someone said a negative statement to me or they tried to judge me, I don't care what you say because I know what I believe about myself. So you have to rewire the belief system that you have about yourself in order to gain more confidence. I know we love our affirmation statements. Any video that you pull up about manifesting your dream life or any kind of content like that, they're going to say, oh, well, make your affirmations. Okay, well, you can make your affirmations, but do you believe what you're saying? If I'm telling myself I am beautiful, look at my body language. Look at how I'm saying it. Rather than saying, I am beautiful, I am powerful, it is what you believe about yourself. So saying an affirmation is doing nothing for you unless you believe what is coming out of your mouth. And again, at the very core of everything, confidence in all, it comes down to your subconscious mind and that belief system. I told you guys I was going to say belief system a lot. Belief system. Do I truly believe that I could speak in front of 50,000 people? Do I believe that I could go on a solo trip to the Maldives and be secure within myself to have a great time by myself? Do I truly believe that I radiate confidence, or do I only feel confident when I'm dressed up and when I have my makeup and hair done? Initially, rewiring your mind is going to feel a little awkward, and that's normal. Obviously, anybody who is placed in a situation where they are uncomfortable or it's unfamiliar territory, they're going to feel awkward. Case in point, if you take a person and tell them, go speak to 50,000 people tomorrow and be ready to present, that would freak them out. They would not have enough confidence to do that. But how can you get a person from the start of it to the end of it where they can speak to 50,000 people and present information? They have to daily invest into that confidence. The most important thing that you want to remember about this is you don't want to pretend to have confidence. I know we can use fake it till you make it in other areas of life a whole lot. This is not one of them. You do not want to fake it till you make it with your confidence. You want to have confidence already within you and build it up naturally rather than trying to pretend to have it. And then when you do get in a situation where maybe you need to speak to a CEO or, someone higher up in the company, then what? Where's your confidence then? Because at that point, you're not going to feel as high confident if it's something that you're pretending to have. If you naturally have confidence, you'll be able to speak to anyone, no matter their status, job title, whatsoever. Confidence is all about energy. So I want you to think about, how do I want to feel when I exude this confidence, or when I become a confident woman? How do I want to feel? Personally, I want to feel unstoppable. I want to feel calm. I want to be courageous. Like, I want to feel like I can just conquer the whole entire world by myself without anybody else's help. Like, that's the kind of feeling I want to have. So I want to be courageous. I want to be a positive person, but more importantly, I want to be self-assured. If your goal is to beat comparison or to stop getting validation from external sources, you have to become a self-assured person. So if these are the feelings that I want to generate, how can I generate those feelings every single day? What can I have my focus and awareness on that would make me generate that feeling of being that unstoppable, calm, courageous, positive, self-assured woman? First thing that you can think about is your posture. And I'm not talking about just when you sit at the table, how's your posture? I'm talking about from the time you wake up and sit out of your bed. Like, put your feet on the floor. How is my posture? If my posture over my bed when I get up in the morning is slouched, try again. Lay back down and try it again. So when you rise first thing in the morning, think about your posture. When you get in your car, think about your posture. When you sit down to have a meal, think about your posture. Every time that you get up and sit down, I want you to think about your posture. When you are shoulders back, chest is out, head is held high, that generates a feeling of, okay, I'm ready to take on the day, or I'm prepared for what it is that my day is going to look like. I'm a little more like, okay, I'm ready for it. I want you to get that feeling from focusing on your posture. You could start focusing on articulating your words. So that is one thing that I personally am working on, is making sure that I am articulating when I am talking. I know a lot of us have gotten comfortable using slang language. And honestly, I use slang, probably a curse word here or there or two or four. When I articulate, that makes me feel like a very high, confident, self-assured woman. It doesn't matter if I'm speaking to the YouTube CEO or if I'm speaking to my girlfriend over brunch. Regardless, I can articulate myself in both settings. Another area of focus, think before you respond. So again, that confidence is energy. And if I want to generate certain feelings, which one of my feelings was a calmness, then I really need to pay attention and think before I respond. I don't want to be bothered. I feel like it is just so sexy when a confident woman can be unmoved. It doesn't matter what kind of conversation she's having. It doesn't matter what kind of situation she has found herself in. She remains calm in every situation. That is the energy that I want to possess. That's the feeling I want to have. So to practice that on a daily basis, I need to think before I respond. And one last option that you can keep your focus on daily, if you are trying to create that feeling and that confident energy, is eye contact. I have mentioned eye contact before, but I just wanted to include it on this list as well because it is something that can generate that feeling. If every day I'm practicing holding eye contact a little longer with maybe just the people in my household or maybe the people in my neighborhood, then I can go out in bigger settings and be able to talk with people while holding a direct contact or direct eye contact. Doesn't matter about status. If you're someone who struggles to talk to someone who has a superior setting over you, then this is something that you want to practice on, because you shouldn't fear people. People just have job titles or whatever. We're all the same at the end of the day. So you should be able to talk to someone and hold eye contact regardless of who they are. Your goal is not to perform any of this. You don't want to put on the performance of the feeling. It is about being present every single day from sunup to sundown, because if you are consistently attaching yourself to those feelings that you're generating every single day, that's what's going to help rewire that subconscious mind. That's what's going to help your behaviors start to change on the day-to-day. Now, even the most disciplined people in the world, they have moments in their schedules too where they get a little bit lax, and that's okay, because you get right back on and you continue to hone that skill, whatever it may be. So if you're someone who goes to the gym and you've missed a couple of days, you're like, you know what? I feel my skill set is decreasing. Let me go ahead and get back to the gym. The confidence within yourself is the same exact way. You have to treat it like a skill, and over time you have to fine-tune that skill. I want you to think about it like this. Confidence is very similar to when you are finding your unique voice. When you're finding your unique voice, you're trying to figure out that personalized style. You're trying to figure out what you're passionate about and then how you can convey the message in your own words, in your own style, it takes a lot. Like, you really have to fine tune and go on a deep dive in order to truly figure out what your voice is. You have to develop it. Like, I didn't get on social media speaking like this. Go back to my very first video, and I think 2021, almost 3.5 years ago. Go back to 2021 and see how I spoke. Like, I would look at the camera, but I don't have eye contact with the camera right now. I truly feel like I am speaking to you guys as if you were sitting in front of me. I don't feel like I'm talking to my camera anymore. That was something that I had to develop. I didn't get on social media with a strong sense of my own personalized voice. I had to go through some things. I had to figure out what I was passionate about. Now, you can tell the difference in how I speak, how I present myself. I have found my own unique voice now. We know we have to reprogram our subconscious mind in order to truly rewire that confidence. And we also know that we have to develop this confidence over time. We need to really fine tune and just really pay attention to the feelings that we're generating every single day as we're trying to build this confidence. So we have all of these positive things. I want to acknowledge something, though, that always happens when you choose to have confidence growth in your life. Confidence growth is always going to be a disruptor to the dynamics. So please, do not take it personal when relationships are tested as you are building your confidence. Anytime that you focus on creating more confidence within yourself, it is a disruptor to the dynamics around you. So yes, some people are going to view this very negatively. They're not going to respond well to you working on your confidence. This cannot be a problem for you, though, and you cannot take it personally. Your concern for other people's feelings should not come over and above your own. And I know some of you are going to be like, well, that's very harsh. That's a mean thing to say. Well, it comes down to, do you want to be harsh? Or do you want to continue prioritizing someone else's feelings over and above the progression that you have in your own life? And honestly, it doesn't even have to come down to progression or having growth or anything like that. Overall, do you want someone else's feelings or what someone else has to say to dictate your life and how you choose to live your life? Self-awareness, confidence, reprogramming, these are all unseen changes, meaning that you're going to be very in your head. And no, I'm not talking about in your head the way that we get when we overanalyze situations. I'm not talking about that kind. I'm saying that you're going to be in your head. You're in a quiet period right now. You're reflecting. You're actually paying attention to the thoughts that you're having. You're dreaming. You're thinking about the goals that you want to accomplish. So on the outside, if I'm in my head in a very good way, it's going to look like I'm standoffish. It's going to look like I'm moody and I don't want to be bothered. Or as some may call, oh, she's being a bitch or she's acting bitchy right now. It is going to appear that way, but it only appears that way because you're in a very quiet season right now. Internal transformation has never been and will never be a group project. This updated version of you, only certain people are going to experience it. Now, what I will say is, if your personal growth journey, your confidence journey is inspiring one of your friends around you or multiple people around you, and then they're asking, hey, how did you do it? What kind of tools can I use? And they're putting in the work. This is somebody that you definitely want to keep around anyway, because this is someone who is very like-minded, and they're saying that you're changing and making a great stride in your life, and that inspires them to do the same, not because they see what you benefit from it. Well, I guess kind of, but more so that they want to see those same progressions happen in their life. So this is somebody that you want to keep around. I'm telling you, going through this process will definitely shake up the system. Like I said, it is definitely a disruptor to the dynamics, but it will show you very clear, I might add, it'll show you exactly where you need to separate yourself from. We just love our vision boards, don't we? We love our vision boards. We love, like I said earlier, we love saying our affirmation statements. Oh my gosh, I'm manifesting my dream life, blah, blah, blah. All of those things are fine and dandy. But if you are not keeping the daily promises to yourself, you are going to get nowhere, and you're going to get nowhere fast. Let's take it back to the fundamentals, because I am sure we have all heard this before. Action and belief are the key to creating a new life for yourself. Action and belief. You cannot have one without the other. Action will not change until you rewire your subconscious mind. Just like your beliefs, you will not have strong, unwavering beliefs about yourself until you rewire your subconscious mind. It's the constant daily reprogramming that avoids that self-betrayal. I personally feel like self-betrayal is far worse than anybody else betraying you. We forget that responsibility that we have to ourselves. We want everybody else to treat us with kindness, but we're not kind to ourselves. We get all this jealousy and envy built up in our hearts because we're watching other people grow at rapid rates. We're betraying ourselves in that moment because we're not even giving ourselves the grace enough to say, you know what, I'm just growing at my own rate right now. We forget the responsibility to love ourselves, and that's also how you are betraying yourself. You're not even loving yourself. You're not giving yourself grace. You're not giving yourself the space to actually grow. So if I'm not loving myself the right way, and I'm not loving myself through every single season that I go through, how could I possibly extend a wholehearted, unconditional love to anybody else? As you are working on confidence, as you are reprogramming your subconscious mind, I need you to make a promise to yourself, not only to continue to show up and become the woman of your dreams, but I need you to show up and keep the promise that you're going to bring it back to center, which is bringing it back to love. You have a responsibility to love yourself. You have a responsibility to love others just equally the same. I don't want us to continue to betray our own trust. We have no self-trust, which again stems from a lack of confidence. So all of these things have to be brought back to center, which means bringing it back to love. So as you show up every day, keep that promise to yourself. And with that being said, that brings us to the end of today's video. You guys comment down below. Let me know how you liked this overall style of video. And I would love to hear how you're currently working on your confidence as well. But until next time, may your confidence be loud and through the roof. And I hope that I see you guys on next Friday's video. Until next time, my loves.